This is Total Disruption Boardroom Battleground, where bold entrepreneurs step up and they put their businesses to the test.
Over the next 12 weeks, we'll push our contestants beyond their limits in branding, marketing, leadership, strategy, scalability, and profitability.
Every decision they made, every single breakthrough, every single struggle, captured, analyzed, and then broadcast across all the platforms.
Every move counts. Every misstep, a crucial lesson. Every victory, a moment to shine.
That's where our expert team of elite coaches come in. Really push our competitors harder, demand more, break those bad habits, and put those strategies in place.
Behind the scenes, our world-class production team will showcase their business like never before. The kind of exposure most entrepreneurs chase for years, served up right here in real time.
In the end, a single superstar is going to rise above the rest.
The rest will walk away with battle-tested strategies, a stronger business, and lessons of a lifetime, scars and all.
Not to mention a whole arsenal of promotional videos and materials in their back pocket.
Get ready, because this is as real as it gets, folks. This is Total Disruption. Boardroom Battleground.
Welcome back to Boardroom Battleground. I'm Dr. Jake Klinde. I'm a mindset architect and growth strategist. I'm here to push these entrepreneurs beyond their comfort zones.
And I'm Michael LaBerse, your go-to for performance, purpose, and cutting through the noise. If it doesn't drive results, it just doesn't belong.
Last time, we focused on something every entrepreneur has to define: their unique value proposition. What sets them apart? What makes them different? Why their offer matters.
But even the best value falls flat if the numbers don't work. That's why this week, we're diving into the heart of financial strategy.
It's all about pricing and revenue planning, setting the numbers that drive profit and align with customer expectations.
This is where logic meets creativity. Contestants will wrestle with real-world financial choices, from underpricing their worth to building sustainable revenue models.
And the boardroom's going to be watching. As always, they're evaluated on 4 key pillars: their execution, their growth, their strategy, and their leadership.
Corey's still leading, Donnie's in last. This is where smart financial thinking could shake everything up.
Stakes are pretty high. The margins are even tighter. Who can price with power? And who's leaving money on the table?
Let's take a hard look at the numbers.
Hello, disruptors. Numbers don't lie. What's your current profit margin? What's your cash-on-cash return? If you wanted to sell your business next year, how much could you get for it? If you don't know the answer to these questions, you can't tell if you're winning or losing. Now, in the business world, we track our wins and losses on a P&L sheet. And if you aren't tracking your numbers, it's time to start. And if you are tracking your numbers, and you think you're good, we'll make you better. We're gonna make the most with the least in the shortest amount of time this season, and the entrepreneur spirit's gonna be running wild.
Well, I think that the most important thing, a lot of people think pricing, it's the price, right? It's too much, it's not enough, blah, blah, blah. But it's really your belief in the price and the result that you believe that you can bring.
The pricing model that we have at Upbeat Performing Arts is a little bit of a balancing act, because it's really important to me that I pay my teachers well, while also being affordable for students and parents to be able to pay for. And so we run into this a little bit of a problem where my teachers are being paid really well as they'd like to be paid, but then the actual margins of what my business takes away are not as high as I'd like them to be. We tend to have enough to keep afloat, but it would definitely be better for our future if we were able to have bigger margins so we could save up money and invest more in ourselves in the future.
At some point, you do have to actually make a living at what you're doing in order to sustain your life that you're trying to have, whether it's the life you want or the life you're currently in. I believe that our focus should then be trying to kind of steer her in that community direction.
We're going to be tracking your finances and tracking your profit margin. The Olympians, there's a concept of world-class athletes always knowing their numbers, and I've taken that to the business world. Just like if you look at a baseball card, they have a statistic on the background, their batting average, their winning percentage, strikeouts, and everything else. I think that if we're professional business owners, we should probably do the same thing.
Now I just need to making more money so I can actually make a living and quit my day job so I don't have to be in surgeries all day, and I can just make music with cute little kids all day.
That's so awesome. Well, it's awesome that you're here because hopefully there can be like a runway, a game plan of helping you set a goal to be able to replace that income and go out on your own.
Don't really want to go to my day job today. I don't really want to still be working in a field that I'm not passionate about in order to support the field that I am passionate about.
It's cool that you're in right now a transition. I know it doesn't feel cool, but a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome even if you open your video up and said, yeah, I get in trouble during surgeries. That to me would be like, what are you doing in the surgery? Like, 'cause I'm singing.
Chad had a lot of charts, which was really great because so I actually was talking to one of my employees about this the other week. She is really interested. She's a numbers person as well. And she really wanted me to give her an exact date for when I would have enough students for her to quit her full-time job and join us. And, talking to her over the phone, I was like, I can't tell you. I was like, probably, I was trying to speculate and give her answers, guesstimating. And something that she asked me is she was like, well, can you put like an Excel sheet together for me? And I was like, technically probably yes. But it's not something that I have taken the time to do.
We're going to hopefully have some gains that we can track. It's not just about feelings here. It's black and white. Numbers don't lie. I'm looking really forward to this. This is straight up the American dream. We're going to inspire a lot of people out there and be responsible about it as well. We're not just gunslinging here.
It would be a really good thing for me to know. So it was nice that Chad showed those types of things and then talked about like how to get low interest loans or grants. Part of my brain is like, yes, free money. But the back part of my brain that was raised by a rancher in Wyoming says, no, there's no free money. There's always strings attached.
Small business owners, entrepreneurs fall prey to the trap. Nobody's the boss of us, right? We're not a corporation where we have checks and balances with the stock market wanting to know our earnings every quarter. So we have to take it upon ourselves to create our own discipline.
This TV show will provide me with the opportunity to have more business experience, have more advice from people older and wiser than me. I'm not ignorant. I know that I'm young and spry, but I do not know everything. And I know that having sage advice from people who have been through it before, from people who own businesses already, or even have a business degree. I took one business class. That does not make me a business savant. With their know-how and their advice, I will be able to expand my business. Not only have a successful brick and mortar here in Utah, but expand it nationwide so that I can improve the music influence throughout the nation, but also become more successful myself as a business owner.
Why not go to those markets and say, let me make you better at this, right? You can get online, you can hit up some airsoft influencers, and you could be like, listen, why don't you come out to my range and let's work on some stuff, sending them down range, either whether we're setting it up and modifying it for you and your group, or we're modifying it for the real deal.
Getting closer, but also at the same time, finances are starting to dwindle, and so it's definitely stressful. Working hard to get the leads to conversions.
Mark, I can definitely see, I want to get your revenue up, dude. We need to get your sales up. How are we going to do that? Do we have to start spending money on Facebook ads? Do we have to start there's a ton of different things. Who's going to pay for it? I don't know.
So over the last 8 years, I've been focusing on brand. Actually, the ranges that we were shooting at, because the property owner believed in what we were doing, really, I didn't have any extra fees, no overhead. So the money I was making was just to support the company internally. But what I did fail at is really doing the proper planning on what all of this is going to cost. I was actually having a meeting yesterday with one of my instructors, and I told him, especially when it came to the land portion, that if I actually did all the detailed planning that was required, I might not have pulled the trigger on buying the property.
A lot of times, small business owners are carrying business debt on their personal credit, and then they can't buy a car, they can't get a house the right ways. And if you wanted to sell your business, how do you separate all that, right?
Debt absolutely scares me. And so right now we have the debt of the property that we're paying on, the HELOC, which is a family debt.
Are we going to afford another payment on something that's not operational yet? Was scary for me.
And then I was very fortunate enough to be awarded a loan from the city through a program of mine. Well, that's another debt that's going to have to come pay.
But financially, this was a really hard journey.
We really got to get this property going because, the events we'll have will bring in revenue. We'll be able to have more courses, bigger courses, courses that are more frequent. And those are the things that are going to be in revenue. Right now, I'm just worried. I'm worried about paying bills. I'm not even worried about paying myself because I haven't paid myself hardly at all. I haven't paid myself in 2025, that's for sure.
You still need to know how much of the workflow you're handling and then pay yourself as a laborer. Either that or you're going to hire somebody. If you don't do it, you're going to hire somebody else, right? It's not a business owner. Business owners own the business and take distributions from the extra profit. Employees do the work that the business needs.
I don't have grandeurs of being a millionaire or anything like that. I want to continue to be able to sponsor the Special Forces Foundation because they have been so gracious to me. Holly and I were talking about, I want to sponsor our local baseball and softball teams that our kids are playing. And I want to be able to do that as a business owner without looking at my spreadsheet.
I'm such a saver. I keep the checkbook in our house. I keep the spreadsheets. I keep the Excel documents going. So that has been a little nerve-wracking.
You'll be able to start answering more of your questions that you get asked in your business by asking yourself, do they help one of these three things? Raise my profit margin, raise my cash on cash return, or raise the overall value of my business? And I think that's your North Star. We are going to have quantifiable metrics to gauge our success over the next 90 days.
That's what total disruption has really meant to me financially on the finance side, is how to really look at and project what we're going to get. And then now I have goals for I-68 to reach revenue-wise, so we can make those impacts in the community. I can pay myself as an owner to meet my personal financial goals, and continue the business, to continue to grow it and scale it, and also continue to improve the I-68 training facility.
So he's got, he's pulling money from personal places to be able to fund this business opportunity. So he's looking at a lot of debt. I think he's making a lot of the right moves to be able to fulfill this once the project is up and running. I think he's got more classes coming up, and I haven't heard anything here recently about him not being able to fill space in either his class or his personal, which tells me his pricing is not an issue because people aren't saying no for that reason.
I'm going through a downtime right now, and I'm probably going to lose the money on this deal if I can't raise the capital. And if I do raise the capital, I went from no payment on this thing for 6 months to $6,000 a month in payments. So I got to make more money now to cover this thing while I'm in the rehab. And I also got to figure out how to pay for the rehab. So this is going to get very pricey, very fast compared to how I had this deal structured.
And so it's you and me, it's our job with the spreadsheets to make sure that you're not overpaying on that. And a lot of people this is where a lot of people lose money and they don't realize it, because you're always so frantic and you're hectic and everybody's got their hand out.
Investors are a little nervous about just pulling the trigger on very obvious deals to me, but it ain't my money, so who am I to complain? So yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's sideways.
If it's just about, hey, I just want to go and make money, there's nothing wrong with that, but you want to be passionate about something, right? Making the business successful, be in alignment with your passion, that vehicle helps it move along faster and opens up doors for you.
So with Donnie, right? Are we confident in his, I guess with his flip revenue, with his mentorship fees?
You know, I need somebody who's got capital to invest, who has the risk tolerance to invest it. And so it's a very wide swath, but it's also pretty narrow in the sense that this investment vehicle is just not for everybody, you know. And in the early stages of selling the system, if you were willing to pay me $7,500 for my advice, that was as much thought as I gave it. You know, and if you got the money, I'll take it. That was an error. I got a lot of clients who are not ideal in my system as a result of that mindset. So I have an idea of the avatar. I got a good idea of what they look like, but the primary thing is they have the money to deploy into a deal, $50,000 in minimum capital, and that they're willing to do it. You know, having the money is not enough if you don't have the risk tolerance. Then you're going to waste your time and money and bring in deals and they can't shift it.
If you have a 15 to 20% profit margin, that's kind of scary to some people on the outside, because it doesn't take that much for to hit the fan and you to be in the red.
I had a private lender who would promise to back the play, buy the house, give me the rehab funds, give 6 months of payments. It was a sweetheart of a deal. And then last minute, the market corrected a couple of weeks ago, as everybody heard, and the guy lost a bunch of money in the market. And he's like, well, I can't fund but 580 of this, so you need to come up with another $100,000. I'm like, yeah, cool, I have that laying around. But I found it. I got the money lined up with private capital, and by the grace of God, we're closing on this thing tomorrow.
In the minds of investors, they don't want to keep shopping around. They want to know that their money's going to be in some place and it's going to be a consistent return. So that kind of needs to be hammered down a little bit more. But it would be nice for the projections to let them know what your profit margin is. Donnie is in a constant battle between having capital and then not having capital, juggling 3 different kind of masters. He's got to pay for his marketing. He's got to pay for the house that he's going to flip or put his earnest money down. And then he's got to make monthly payments on projects. And so I am trying to regenerate some of his old leads that weren't qualified because they didn't have the money to partner with him. So we're trying to get some of those people back on the horn so I can give them money so they can afford to do a deal with him.
I believe so much in what we're doing with the foreclosure profit system, with the exposure that I'm getting from total disruption. I know I can see very clearly the path to success. And I think that's a big challenge of the entrepreneurial journey. When you're first getting started, you've got an idea and where you want to end up, but you have to build the road, right? It's not even a matter of taking a road, because nobody is on the exact same road that you are, right? Everybody's going to get there a little bit differently. Even though I'm in real estate, I'm in consulting, other people have done what I'm doing. My journey is going to be different.
Our angels that have written us, $100,000 checks here and there, all of a sudden on paper, their investments are worth like, $5 million, right? So they're happy, at least on paper. But my understanding is that I need to have the working capital for this venture.
That is straight up other people's money, man.
Sounds like the right move to me.
I don't know that the pricing model's there yet, and it's more generate open, because every time I talk to Corey about this whole thing, it's still on a different level than the end user pricing strategy.
I think we are very investable. I just think we do need the cohesion, the kind of unified vision of what we're building and how and why it matters and what we need to prioritize.
Foundation, that's the biggest part of a house. It takes the longest amount of time. It's got to set, the concrete's got to cure. And then once that happens, the house goes up in like 2 weeks, right?
I believe that will help 250 million humans that are scared of AI right now start to use it, because we've removed that fear And first of all, the business model behind 250 million daily active users is insane, right? Like there's so many ways to monetize that, right? But so what I'm not going to do is explain to some 50-year-old guy who was never going to give us any money. And, and even if he was, it was going to come with way too much of a headache and strings attached and breathing down my neck. And I don't play any of that.
Whenever you put yourself out there, we assume people are going to celebrate and support us. But remember, not everybody does, right? There's going to be people that are jealous. They're upset. They don't like what you're doing for whatever reason. They're just hating the hate. So you got to evaluate the source. You got to just stay on track, stay on your flight plan, don't deviate.
This is, I've been along going and introducing it to our rodeo athletes, and it's always my thing I tell them on the end of my call. I'm always say, don't forget to go put this on your horse at night because it'll help them get stronger too and perform better, faster. And we actually have a friend that she used it on her horse, and she said he's stronger than he's ever been and won the rodeo. So that was exciting to see her do that.
If there's a patch, I don't care what it would have cost. Or like I have 3 dogs now, 3 big dogs. The one that's getting older. If there was a patch, I literally wouldn't care what it costs. They could give her better quality of life or longer life.
When we get that 2-for-1 benefit, that's just increasing our market size too, because it's crazy. Because some people will spend more on their animals than they will themselves. So when they are then seeing how it helps their animals, they're like, well, I guess I might as well use it too.
When I hear something that could potentially help animals, like I know so many people in pet tech space and stuff that could probably get this to a ton of people, but like there's a massive market there, right? Like there's billions of dollars to be made if this, as long as it works. Everything I hear from you is that it really works. So like you just keep bombarding everybody.
Corey brought it to my attention, that with me mentioning that we had used them on our animals and the crazy benefits we'd seen with them, that it adds even more value because you can use them on you and during the day and then put the patch on your animal at night. And because it's, $99, you're getting all of this benefit, but you're getting 2-for-1 basically, because you can put it on your animals at night. And the results that we've seen on our horses, that they get so much stronger than they were like 5 years ago.
Because of the company she's with, she can't really adjust her pricing to make it more attractive or one way or the other.
And we were able to get 5 new clients just from that one day, and have more texts coming in every day from that event.
You can have residual income alongside of your current income. Like this income could become so large that it replace what you're doing and give you time freedom.
Obviously, she works with a network marketing company, so there's pricing that's already set. It's like in a way, it's a business in a box, right? But her belief in the product and her belief in her ability to sell it at whatever cost that is something that I think is the number one thing that we need to help our contestants understand, and making sure too that their market, like it's priced well for the market.
Right now, she doesn't have any overhead at all. I'm trying to develop out a buyer's list with her so we can get some organic lead generation going. And if that doesn't work, then maybe someone else here in the group can come up with a marketing campaign for her, and we go run some Facebook ads or some kind of other paid traffic or something. But we're trying to do some organic stuff first.
Next time on Boardroom Battleground. Future's on the line.
This is just what I'm worth. I'm going to do whatever it takes to form that.
Without Chad's long-term revenue strategy, really one wrong move could cost anyone in our contestants everything.
I think what we're asking for is very reasonable, and what we're hoping for is very reasonable.
Big visions, bigger risks. Who's taking off and who is running out of runway? What a ride. Tonight, our contestants tackled one of the most critical and really probably one of the most misunderstood elements of business, and that's pricing.
It's more than just setting a price tag. It's about aligning your costs, your customers' perceived value, and your place in the market. And for some, tonight was a wake-up call.
We saw some bold experiments, some data-driven decisions, and a few tough lessons today.
And let's be clear, pricing isn't about profit margins. It's about cash flow, the fuel that keeps the engine running. Without it, even the best ideas stall out.
Some of our contestants gained traction. Others hit some bumps, but every one of them took a step closer to building a business that can actually scale.
Next episode, we zoom out. It's all about the long game, sustainable revenue, smart forecasting, and financial models that really go the distance.
Boardroom's watching. The pressure, it's only building.
We'll see you next time on Boardroom Battleground.